Hello and welcome to today's episode. In today's episode, we will discuss demand forecasting and the methods of demand forecasting. There are two methods of demand forecasting. In today's episode, we will discuss qualitative methods of demand forecasting, which is also known as opinion polling methods. I am Dr. Arshia Hussain, PhD in Human Resource Management and teaching in Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. So, let us start with the concept of demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is predicting the future demand by a firm for any product. Demand forecasting helps the business organization in decision making in many areas, namely planning and scheduling operations, acquiring factor inputs such as labor, raw material and capital. It helps in making provision for finances, formulating pricing strategies and planning advertisement. Demand forecasting is reliable when it is done in a systematic way. It involves the following steps. Steps in demand forecasting. First one is specifying the objective. The first step is to clearly specify the objective of demand forecasting. The objective must be clearly defined in terms of short-term objective or long-term objective. The overall demand for a product or the demand for firm's own product, market share of the firm. Second one, determining the time perspective. The second objective of demand forecasting is to specify the time period for which forecasting is to be done, that is for short period or for long period. The third one is making choice of method for demand forecasting. A firm has to decide the appropriate method of demand forecasting. This depends upon the purpose and the requirements of forecasting, availability of required data and the time frame. The choice of a suitable method of forecasting helps the firm in time and cost saving. Fourth one is collection of data and data adjustment. The next step is to collect the data. Data can be collected either by primary sources or by secondary sources. The fifth one is estimation and interpretation of results. Now, this is the final step, that is to estimate the demand for the predetermined years and then interpreting the results thereof. The results must be presented in a form that is usable for a firm. Now, we will see the methods or techniques of demand forecasting. The first method is qualitative methods, also known as survey methods. The second one is quantitative methods, also known as statistical methods. Now, we will discuss first of all survey methods. Survey methods are generally used where the purpose is to make short run forecast of demand. Under this method, consumer surveys are conducted to collect information about their intentions and future purchase plans. Survey methods are also known as qualitative methods of demand forecasting. Qualitative methods of demand forecasting primarily deals with two questions. First one is, what do people say? And the second one is, what do they do? It is very useful in forecasting demand for new products and or new markets for which no past data are available. This method includes number 1, survey of potential consumers plan, and number 2, opinion poll methods. Now we will discuss the first one, that is survey of potential consumers plan or consumer survey method. The consumer survey method of demand forecasting involves direct interview of the potential consumers. Consumers are interviewed by any of the following methods depending on the purpose, time and cost of survey. The first one is complete enumeration method. The second one is sample survey, or the third one is end use method. Next method is opinion poll methods. The opinion poll methods are used to collect opinions of the persons who have a knowledge of the market, such as sales representatives, professional marketing experts, sales executives and marketing consultants. The opinion poll method includes first one, expert opinion, second one, Delphi method, and the third one is market studies and experiments. Now we will first discuss consumer survey methods. The first one is complete enumeration method. Complete enumeration method is the method of forecasting demand, where all the potential users of the product are contacted. They are asked about their future plan of purchasing the product. The quantities indicated by the consumers are added together to get the future demand for the product. This method can be used only in case of those products whose consumers are concentrated in a certain region or locality. However, this method may not be physically possible if the market for the product is widely dispersed. It is very costly method in terms of both money and time. Furthermore, the demand forecast through this method may not be reliable due to the following reasons. The first one is consumers themselves may not know their actual demand in future and hence may be unwilling to answer the question. The second one is even if the consumers answers, their answers to hypothetical questions may be hypothetical, not real. The third one is the response of consumers may be biased as per their own expectations about the market conditions. And finally, their future plans may change with a change in the factors that are not included in the questionnaire. Now, the second method under consumer survey is the sample survey method. Sample survey method is used when population of the target market is very large. Under this method, a sample of potential consumers is selected for interview. Consumers to be surveyed are selected from relevant market through a sampling method. Sample survey method may be direct or mailed questionnaire to the sample consumers. On the basis of the information obtained, the future demand may be estimated. The formula for calculating the estimated demand for the product is as follows. dP is equal to HR divided by HS multiplied by H multiplied by AD, where dP is probable demand forecast. H is the number of households from the relevant market. HS is the number of households surveyed or sample households. HR is the number of households reporting demand for the product, and AD is average expected consumption by the reporting households. That is the total quantity reported to be consumed by the reporting households divided by number of households. Now, this method is quite simple, less costly and less time consuming. This method is generally used to estimate short-term demand of business firms, government departments and agencies, and also of the households who plan their future purchases. Sample survey method is most widely used survey method to forecast demand. Now, let us have a look at some of the merits and demerits of sample survey method. Merits of a sample survey method. The first one is it is simple to administer and comprehend. Second one, the results obtained through the use of this method is much more realistic, since it is based on direct opinion of buyers. The third one is this method is suitable for short-term decisions regarding product and promotion. Now, we will see demerits of sample survey method. The first demerit is this method is generally considered as an expensive proposition, both in terms of resources and time. This method is not suitable for long-term forecasting because some of the determinants of demand, such as consumers' taste and preferences and fashion, are likely to change in the long run. The consumers may not reveal their true intention regarding their future buying behavior and may give false responses. Next is investigators' bias regarding choice of sample and questions cannot be fully eliminated. Accuracy of the survey results would be to a large extent contingent upon the quality of the questionnaire and the expertise of the interviewer. Now, the third method under consumer survey method is the end use method. This method is especially used for forecasting the demand for industrial products such as raw materials or intermediary products. Now, under this method, the final users, that is the consuming industries and other sectors, are identified. The desirable norms of consumption of the product are fixed. The targeted output levels are estimated, and these norms are applied to forecast the future demand of the inputs. Under this method, the burden of demand forecasting is on the buyer. However, the decision of the buyers may not be reliable, as they may change their decisions in future, which may mislead the survey. The seller, therefore, should take decisions in the light of his own judgment. Now, we will see the different stages in the end use method. Basically, there are 4 stages in the end use method of demand forecasting. They are as follows. The first one is the first stage, the list of all possible users of the product. It is necessary to identify and list all the possible users of the product in question. This is a time consuming and difficult process, but this is prerequisite and an important step of this method of forecasting. The second stage involves establishing the technical norms of consumption of the product for different industries and other end users of the product. Norms have to be established for each and every end use. Norms may be expressed in physical terms such as per unit of production or per unit of investment, and so on. Similarly, norms may be social, moral or ethical, such as consumption of drugs, alcohol, and so on. The third stage is the application of the norms. This requires the knowledge of the desired levels of output of the individual industries for the reference year, and also the probable development in other economic activities. The fourth stage involves summing up the product-wise or use-wise content of the item for which the demand is to be forecasted. Now, this aggregate result gives the estimate of demand for the product as a whole. Now, we will see advantages of end use method. The first advantage of this method is that the forecast comes directly from the end user, that is the customer himself. The second one is the forecast is already classified into user-wise and industry-wise data and thus require no extra efforts to sort out. Now, disadvantages of end-use method. First one is it involves complex and diverse calculations. Second one is it is costly and time consuming. The third one is industry data may not be readily available. Now we will discuss opinion poll methods. The first method falling under the opinion poll method is the expert opinion method. Under expert opinion method, companies with an adequate network of sales representatives can capitalize on them in assessing the demand for a target product in a particular region or locality that they represent. Since sales representatives are in direct touch with the customer, they are supposed to know the future purchase plans of their customers, their preference for the product, their reaction to the introduction of a new product, their reactions to the market changes and the demand for rival products. Thus, sales representatives are likely to provide an approximate, if not accurate, estimation of demand for a target product in their respective regions or areas. In the case of firms which lack in sales representatives, can collect information regarding the demand for a product through professional market experts or consultants who can predict the future demand on the basis of their expertise and experience. Although the expert opinion method is too simple and inexpensive, however, it suffers from serious limitations. First one, the extent to which the estimates provided by the sales representatives or professionals are reliable depends on their skill and expertise to analyze the market and their experience. Secondly, there are chances of over or underestimation of demand due to the subjective judgment of the assessor. Thirdly, the evaluation of market demand is often based on inadequate information available to the sales representatives, since they have a narrow view of the market. Now, we will discuss merits of experts' opinion method. The first one is the decisions are augmented with the experience of competent experts. Second one, it saves time and resources of the firm, as they are not required to collect data by survey. The third one is this method is very useful, especially when the product is new to all the markets. Next, we will discuss demerits of experts' opinion method. Now, since this technique relies more on the experience of experts than on available data, it may be subject to some bias. This method calls for external experts' opinion. It may expose the firm to the risk of loss of confidential information to rival firms. Now, the second method is the Delphi method. The Delphi method is the extension of the expert opinion method. This technique was developed by the Rand Corporation at the beginning of the Cold War to forecast the impact of technology on warfare. Delphi is a way of getting the opinion of experts without their face-to-face interaction. In other words, under this method, the opinion of different experts is consolidated to estimate a future demand. The process of the Delphi technique is very simple. The experts are provided with the information related to estimates or forecast of other experts along with the underlying assumptions. The experts can revise their estimates in the light of demand forecast made by the other group of experts. The consensus of experts regarding the forecast results in a final forecast. The Delphi technique can be used for cross-checking information on forecast. Now, the second one is market studies and experiments. Another alternative method to collect information regarding the current as well as future demand for a product is to conduct market studies and experiments on the consumer behavior under actual but controlled market conditions. This method is commonly known as market experiment method. Under this method, a firm selects some areas of representative markets, such as 3 or 4 cities having the similar characteristics in terms of the population income levels, social and cultural background, choices and preferences of consumers, and occupational distribution. Then the market experiments are carried out by changing the prices, advertisement expenditure, and all other controllable factors under demand function, other things remaining the same. Once these changes are introduced in the market, the consequent changes in the demand for a product are recorded. On the basis of these recorded estimates, the elasticity coefficients are calculated. These computed coefficients, along with the demand function variables, are used to assess the future demand for a product. Market studies and experiments can be conducted in 2 ways. One way is market simulation and the other way is test marketing. It is just like laboratory testing of consumer behavior. Under this, an artificial market is created by a firm wherein the consumers are instructed to shop with some money. This helps in ascertaining consumers' reactions to changes in price, packaging, and even location of the product in the shop. It is a useful method of demand forecasting as it observes consumer behavior under simulated circumstances. The Granger-Granger's test, which is named after the economist who invented it in 1960s, is popular technique of market simulation. Half of the members of a group of the consumers are shown the new product and responses are sought on whether they would actually buy it at various prices on a random price list. Thereafter, they are shown the existing product. The other half is shown the existing product first and then the new product. This test can also be used to ascertain if a product would be bought at different prices. The results of the test helps in determining the optimum price for each individual consumer. Now, we will see merits of market simulation. The first one is market simulation often provide useful information on consumer behavior regarding any expected change in any of the determinants of demand. These experiments are very useful in case of a new product. Next is demerits of market simulation. The technique of market simulation or experiments may take considerable amount of time and money. In Granger-Granger's test, consumers may not quote the price they may pay for a product. So, this method may not be reliable since people behave differently when they are being observed. Now, we will talk about test marketing. Test marketing is a method and it is a step ahead of market experiments as it involves real markets in which consumers actually buy a product without regarded as test market the consciousness of being observed. In this method, the production is actually sold in certain segments of the market regarded as the test market. Choice and number of test market and duration of test are very crucial to the success of the results. Demand is forecasted on the basis of actual sales of the product in the test markets and the product is launched in the entire market on the basis of the results of the sales in the test area. This method is the costliest among all the methods of demand forecasting and therefore should be adopted only when no other method is likely to give valid results. Now, we will see merits of test marketing. It is the most reliable method among qualitative methods as it is based on real sales proceeds. Second one is it is very suitable for new products. Third one, it is considered less risky than launching the product across a wide region. Now, next is demerits of test marketing. The first one is it is very costly as it requires actual production of the product, and in the event of failure of the product, the entire cost of administering the test is sunk. Second one is it is time consuming to observe the actual buying pattern of consumers, particularly in case of durables. The third one is this method may give different results in different geographical markets, especially in a country like India, which has widely varying markets across its geographical regions. A product that may perform well in one region may not perform equally well in other markets. Now, extrapolation of figures for calculating demand in such a case may not give accurate results. So, that is all for today. Hope you have understood the qualitative methods of forecasting. So, we will discuss quantitative methods of demand forecasting in the next episode. Till then, take care. Good